Hey folks, it's Greg and Janet with Strange RV Tours. Today we're in Corsicana, Texas, and we're here to see a true legend and country music Hall of Fame member. Join us. All right guys, we are here to see the memorial for Lefty Frizzell, who was born here in Corsicana, Texas. As you walk up the walkway, there's a star on the ground. It says Lefty Frizzell 1928 to 1975. And we got a little what do you call that, mural on tile here of his guitar. Looked like he used a Gibson Lefty Frizzell. And then up here we got handprints. I have no idea whose handprints, but there's handprints. And here's the monument, guys. Here's the memorial. We got a plane going overhead.
Well, he stands like 10 foot tall, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's wearing one of Nudie's jackets there. If you guys don't know, Nudie was a, what would you call him, costume designer. And a very famous one. And all the old TV and movie cowboys, they would get Nudie jackets made. They were real flamboyant jackets. And you had to be a star to get one because they were outrageously expensive. But anyhow, all right, it says William Orville Lefty Frizzell, born in Corsicana, Texas, March 31st, 1928, died in Nashville, Tennessee, July 19th, 1975. Now, if you're under the age of about 35, you probably never heard of Lefty Frizzell. But if you're an old person like I am, then you'll remember his biggest hit was "If You've Got the Money, Honey, I've Got the Time." That was his biggest hit, but he had many hits. All right, major contributors include Merle Haggard, David Frizzell, Alan Frizzell, and Hank Williams Jr. And Eureka Ready Mix. Concrete company. I bet they donated the concrete for this place. Behind the memorial statue is a really nice mural of Lefty.
Pretty neat. Now, Lefty is actually buried Forest Lawn Memorial Gardens in Tennessee. But this is really a nice memorial to him.
Yeah, I think the city of Corsicana said, forget that. We're going to outdo Tennessee. We're going to put a real monument here for him.
Right, right.
So.
Well, he was on the Grand Ole Opry a lot, you know, along with the big stars all the time. He wrote a lot of songs for a lot of people. And get this, he used to live in Roswell, New Mexico. I lived there too. And he was actually thrown in jail there. And he promised his wife, Alice Harper was his wife, married her when she was 17. Actually, he wrote the song, it's a big hit, I Will Love You 1,000 Years. And he promised he was going to clean up his act. But that happened in Roswell, and then he moved to Dallas. That's pretty cool.
Now, he would have lived in Roswell possibly when the supposed alien crash happened there.
That might be.
Because he was born in 1928, and that happened, what, in the early to mid-40s?
Yeah. Who knows?
So he may have been there at that time.
Who knows?
All right, you can see the back of his Nudie statue here, or his Nudie jacket, kind of. It's kind of shadowed, maybe you can't. Other names here that have donated to the project, including the Navarro County Historical Society. And we've got some scripture here, some writing. There's really no way I can describe the effect Lefty had on audiences back in those days. He had the soul of Hank Williams, the appeal of Johnny Cash, and the charisma of Elvis Presley. He had it all, brilliance and clarity. From the Merle Haggard biography, Sing Me Back Home, by Merle Haggard and Peggy Russell, Times Books publisher. Yeah, and he performed on the Louisiana Hayride often. And so did Elvis and Johnny Cash. So he probably performed with them in different parts of Texas.
Yeah.
What a good looking statue though.
Yeah, and over 6,000 people showed up for the unveiling of this memorial. I mean, stars, the community, I mean, a lot of people.
I went to college here in Corsicana. That had to be a huge event for this town because back then, nothing happened in Corsicana. I mean, I'm not joking. I mean, if it was after 10 p.m. and you flushed your commode, your neighbors would make a big deal about it. So, anyhow, they also have a Lefty Frizzell Museum here that we're going to head over to in just a moment. And we'll show you guys that museum. Okay, gang, we are at the Lefty Frizzell Country Museum. It's located in Pioneer Village here in Corsicana, Texas. Lefty was born here in Corsicana. Here's a picture of him. He was born March 31st, 1928 and died in Nashville, Tennessee on July 19th, 1975. He's in the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame, Grammy Hall of Fame, and Country Music Hall of Fame. Let's see what they got inside here, guys. All right. Tuckertown. 3 months old, a population of 6,000, Navarro County. And here's a baby picture of William Orville Lefty Frizzell, born in 1928. And this building is a shotgun house. Today there is nothing left but memories of the house in which Lefty was born or the oil boom town of Navarro County, Tuckertown. The Lefty Frizzell Museum is housed in a 1920s era house typical of the one where country music legend Lefty Frizzell was born. The term shotgun house or shack refers to the fact that the rooms are connected one to another with a straight line without a hallway. This was originally had another room on the back used as a kitchen. The bathroom was an outhouse. All right. Now, the reason they call these, I'll give you a better explanation of why they call these shotgun houses, is this door has been moved. But when you'd open up the front door door would be in line all the way to the back door of the house. So in other words, it would look like one hallway, but it wasn't actually a hallway. You'd be walking through one room to get to the next room, to get to the next room in a straight line. And they called them shotgun houses because they said if you open the front door and the back door and you shot a shotgun through the front door, it would go right out the back of the house without hitting anybody because they were in direct line with each other. Those houses are infamous for New Orleans and Louisiana area. We've got all kinds of songs here. If you got the money, I've got the time. Shine, shave, shower. Blue Yodel number 6. I want to be with you always. Traveling blues. You're just mine. Okay, I talked about the Nudie jackets. Okay, this right here, this gentleman here was Nudie. And let's see if I can get Janet to open this up and show us a few pictures in this book. Ooh. He was a tailor, and that's the type of jackets that he would make. Stuff like that. You see him with all the old country and western singers and the rodeo stars, the movie stars.
Wow.
And these jackets were incredibly expensive, and yes, he actually did drive this vehicle here with big steer horns on the front of it and pistols for doorknobs. And you were making the money if you owned a Nudie jacket.
It's all about
or slacks. But anyhow, here's some other suits that he would make. Among his most famous creations was Elvis Presley's $10,000 gold lame suit. He also designed the costume worn by Robert Redford in the 1979 classic film Electric Horseman. His creations were worn by people like Hank Williams, the Flying Burrito Brothers, Graham Parsons, Roy Rogers and Dale Evans. John Lennon was a customer. John Wayne, Gene Autry, George Jones, Cher, Ronald Reagan, Elton John, Robert Mitchum. Everybody, guys. Everybody that had anything to do with country films or music. If they had a name in the business, they had a Nudie suit. And this was some of Lefty Frizzell's Nudie suits. The kitty cat's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Got a Smokey the Bear watch in there. And this is the entire ensemble here. Look at that, isn't that cool? Got the slacks to match, and you can't forget the boots with Lefty on the sides of them. How cool is that? Yeah, Nudie's 5015 Lankershim Boulevard, Hollywood, California, North Hollywood. And there's a picture back there of Nudie with Lefty Frizzell. All right, we're stepping into the back room here. Another song that Lefty wrote that's been sung by probably a dozen country artists, and they've probably all had hits with it, is That's the Way Love Goes. In fact, that was a hit less than 20 years ago. All right, we got Bob Wills and Lefty on the top picture. Lefty with Gene King and Johnny Cash on the bottom picture there.
Now, if you notice, Lefty wears a scar quite often. He liked that look, but he's covering up a birthmark on his neck. And anyway, I heard that from his brother David. David did a documentary about him just a few months ago. And Lefty had 4 brothers and 3 sisters. Big family, big family.
There's Ralph Spicer's Nudie boots. Wow. Johnny Rodriguez. My parents actually promoted a concert that Johnny Rodriguez performed at, along with B.W. Stevenson. That's one of his stage garb pieces. There's Johnny Rodriguez down there. His guitar. Hank Thompson's cap. And his jacket. There's a nice picture of Lefty Frizzell. The first woman disc jockey on radio.
The floor's given. That's the,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm standing on one side. You're
I
standing
feel like
on
this
the
glass is going to collapse on us. One of Lefty's guitars there.
You know, they're saying that Lefty would have been an Elvis if he had somebody promoting him like Colonel Parker.
I wouldn't doubt it. There's Hank Williams with Lefty Frizzell. And this is an advertisement for the only concert that Lefty Frizzell ever performed here in Corsicana. In 1951, February 20th, 1951, he performed at the high school auditorium. And here's a Lefty Frizzell autograph.
Merle Haggard is there at the memorial.
Yep.
And he's in front of the building. Yeah, 19. He was inducted at the Country Music Hall of Fame in 1983, I believe.
Here's a clay model of the guitar strap used on the life-size statue of Lefty Frizzell in the park. This is a black powder pistol and rifle belonging to Ralph Spicer, friend, band member, and business partner of Lefty Frizzell. You just never know the history you're going to come across in some of these small Texas towns. All kinds of awards and albums.
Now that's the same mural, isn't
Yeah,
it?
this is the mural that sits behind the statue of Lefty over at the memorial. Jimmy Rogers. I don't know what this gun has to do with anything, but that's cool. More pictures of Lefty.
Yeah, that's him and some of his brothers, sisters right there. Johnny Lee, Ola Mae, Betty, Joe, Sonny, which is Lefty, Bill, and Leslie. That was in Arizona, huh?
Yeah, El Dorado. Lefty Frizzell's greatest hits. Saginaw, Michigan. Release Me.
Strange RV tours will take you places with Greg and Janet's smiling faces. You might see a crazy flavored soda review or some tips to fix your RV too. So come along, won't you join us, friend, as we discover what's around the bend. Just sit right back in your easy chair. Strange RV Tours is on the air. Strange RV Tours is on the air.